P90, good. So this will probably be like a 0.9 time save. Probably like a 3083, I'd guess.
Freeze.
You play this too much.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the 8th part of our 412,000 part series, Better Know Speedrunner. Today, we'll learn more about D-Limes 13. After only 2 short years of speedrunning, Limes has cemented his place as one of, if not the greatest runners of Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2, and there's plenty of evidence to support that claim. An active community member, a frequent organizer of speedrunning events, and an all-around great guy, I'm happy to call Limes a friend and inspiration, despite also occasionally being a formidable opponent. A quick note before we get started, if you're a speedrunner yourself and you're interested in being featured in this series, hit me up on Discord or simply let me know in the comments below. Daniel Limes is a 28-year-old IT specialist and small business owner from Perrysburg, Ohio. When he's not pushing Solid Snake towards the speed of light, you can find Limes watching sports or building and fixing PCs. Spurred by a sudden intense rivalry, Limes' rise in speedrunning was as rapid as it was overwhelming to the competition.
Well, I got into speedrunning via YouTube. I was watching a Let's Play of Metal Gear Solid, and I was actually watching this YouTuber by the name of Galm, and I just started watching Let's Plays one day because I was bored at work. And then I stumbled across Plywood's GDQ run of Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, and it looked interesting, so I figured, no, I'd give it a try. Got the Dolphin emulator set up and just started playing the game quick. My first recorded time was 1 hour and 9 minute time, which was decent. A few days later, I got a 1:00:05, so just 5 seconds shy of sub-hour. But the main part of my speedrunning gig is Metal Gear Solid 2, which I started about a month later when somebody by the name of Apache was posting their PBs left and right in the Discord. I found it very, very annoying. I kept thinking to myself, well, I can beat this time. I can beat this idiot. And I did. I beat him within like a day or two with a 1:08:08, which was good enough for 4th place. From there, I continued to chase world record and achieved it in December of 2018 with a 1:04:54.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
I beat Mac McD by 2 seconds. It only took me about a month after I picked up the game. And it didn't do it without the 2 major glitches in that game, which is ladder glitch and swim glitch, just because I found them very difficult to do. And throughout the next few months, I achieved many world records in Metal Gear Solid 2 across all versions, and eventually dominated the game.
Content with his progress on the sequel, and after steadily improving on the first 3D entry in Kojima's magnum opus, Limes set his sights on the lofty goal of putting his name at the top of every board for that title as well.
I guess to this date, my greatest achievement is holding every Metal Gear Solid 1 world record at once, 42 for 42. I achieved this a few weeks ago on August 12th with Console Extreme Any Percent being the finale. I was playing the game for about a year off and on, but since June of 2020 to August of 2020, I just grinded the hell out of it and eventually just achieved every world record in every possible category. I knew I was good at the game from when I picked it up to begin with, but I never thought that I could be in this position where I would hold every world record when I don't even consider it my main game. I mean, I still consider MGS2 my main game, so it's fun to see that if you put in the work, put in the grind, that anything's possible.
In order to achieve this goal, Limes was faced with a notorious shirtless fistfight near the end of the game. And while there's a way to quickly and endlessly chip away at the boss's health, it's far more difficult than it looks.
For the longest time, I had the hardest time dealing with the Liquid Infinite in Metal Gear Solid 1. I could do it from time to time, but I was never really consistent at it. It was always just a gamble every time I would get to Liquid. Am I going to drop it? Am I going to keep it? Am I going to keep it for halfway? But it was really just lack of reps. I was playing the game off and on so much, I wasn't like doing it on a consistent basis. And then when I finally started to grind MGS1 full time, I picked it up very, very quick. It's different on PC and console, but I compensated for both, and now I can do it with pretty good success. I wouldn't say it's automatic, but I get it almost all the time. You just want to have a nice, steady rhythm, not too fast, not too slow, and I wouldn't do any of the fancy throws either. Just do a standard 2-throw setup. Don't worry about going for the fastest possible setup when you're learning this fight, because it's a very difficult fight. I do the standard slower 2-throw setup, and I have every world record in the game. So there's no reason why you have to do fancy stuff when you're starting out. Don't lose a bunch of time on it, and you'll be fine. You'll get a great time.
Nice. Loot.
While he agrees that practice is important and repetition is key, D-Limes warns about grind culture and the negative effects it can have on a runner's mentality and ultimately their progress.
One thing that drives me nuts is when I see other people give advice, just grind the same thing, grind, grind, grind. Well, grinding is a very broad word. You don't want to grind Harrier for 8 hours straight. You don't want to grind Swim Glitch for 6 hours straight. You want to practice, sure, I get that. But you don't want to burn yourself out. And you also want to do it in moderation. So if you're having trouble with something, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, just practice it. Identify your weak points and start to make those adjustments in small increments. But trying to just go for 4 or 5 hours until you get it perfect, it's not going to do you any good. You're going to get sick of the game really, really quick. Moderation. And the other big thing is don't reset your run. Unless you're going for world record, there is zero reason to reset your run. Play it out. Play it out with splits. That way you can track your progress and just complete runs. Because when you're learning a speed run, you need to have all that experience under your belt. You need to learn the route, learn the movement, learn where items are, learn backup situations. You need to learn all this stuff. You're not going to learn anything if you keep resetting in the first 2 minutes of the run. So complete runs, get the route down, run with splits, and enjoy those hefty golds.
Although considered to be an idiot, one of Limes' biggest rivals was simultaneously one of his greatest inspirations. And in a story fit for a feel-good summer movie script, the two would grow to become great friends.
Probably the biggest impact as far as who got me into speedrunning to a degree or who inspired me to run was Apache, for sure. At least in MGS2, because he kind of springboarded the monster I've become. When I saw Plywood first speedrun, I was interested. I completed a run, but I didn't have that sense of competitiveness, urgency, that fire that Apache breathed into me. He just pissed me off. Just posted a PB like all the time, and it wasn't even that good of a time. It's like 115, 114. Please, I could beat that. And I did, but I wanted to kick his ass from a competitive standpoint. And since then, we've become really, really good friends. I mean, I consider him like a brother at this point over the last 2 years. So, love you, dude.
Limes has no misgivings about his fastidiousness. In fact, he credits his success with his insatiable desire to sort the boards with his name at the top.
When I start speedrunning a game, I want to run everything that it has to offer, just because it helps teach others when learning the game. It helps develop new strategies. It helps for backup situations. You can never have enough knowledge when it comes to whatever game you're speedrunning, which is why I like to run every single category, every single difficulty, every single individual level that the game has to offer, because I'm obsessed with not necessarily perfection, but just completion. Because of that, I've compiled a lot of world records. I hold every record in Metal Gear Solid 1. I hold every major record in Metal Gear Solid 2, and a handful of others in some other speedruns, especially in VR. I have over 650 world records to date right now and counting. By the end of the year, I'd like to have 1,000 on my speedrun.com profile. Call it what you will, but I like to rack up the trophies. It's not a selfish act, but I do it because I enjoy it. I do it because I do gain the knowledge, and it does eventually help others. There have been times where somebody's asked a question on an odd difficulty, and I happen to know it because I ran it, and I'm like the only one that ran it, and it kind of feels good that you have that knowledge. But yeah, I'm obsessed with world records, so yeah.
Although his trophy shelf is spilling onto the floor, there's one aspect of speedrunning that Limes appreciates more than any other. He feels that the hobby has improved his life outside of video games and leaderboards, adding to it a certain level of community and friendship that's normally reserved for natural extroverts.
Speedrunning in general, it's taught me to be a better person, be more vocal. I used to be a very shy person. I own a computer store, and that's helped me to a degree, but being a speedrunner, being out in the open, being a broadcaster on Twitch, running at these various speedrun events, and just having my name out there, I'm very comfortable behind the microphone and the webcam. Yeah, fuck you, bird. And I think it's helped me in real life as well, engaging in conversations with customers and people I don't know, and being able to hold conversations to a degree. So for me, speedrunning is not just about playing video games. It's taught me some additional skills in life, and I feel better as a person because of it. Because I can entertain people, I can relate to people. I've made a lot of friends doing it. It's nice to see that there's a community that's supportive, that's nice, that'll take you under the wings, teach you stuff, and just hang out with you. MGSR and my own community, Lime City. I mean, I couldn't ask to be in two better communities, and it certainly is a blessing. And the last 2 years, I wouldn't trade anything for. I'm certainly glad I found speedrunning, that's for sure.
Before we go, I'd like to give a huge shout out to DLimes13 for taking the time to answer the questions for this feature. You can find links to his YouTube, Twitch channel, and Twitter in the description below. Don't forget to give him a follow. On our next episode, we'll be learning more about Jabbo, a brilliant speedrunner of the Fallout series from the United Kingdom, so hit subscribe to make sure you don't miss it. I hope you enjoyed today's Better Know a Speedrunner. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. As usual, I'd love any and all feedback you may have. Just leave it in the comments below. Finally, special thanks to our very first Patreon supporter, Totally Not a Mimic. And if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next run.